'Tis the season to be pouring through tax records. It's like you had a clapper connected to your computer. Coffee, coffee, coffee. I don't like coffee. I don't drink coffee. That is right. We are back. We are back. We are back. Sorry, a phone call kicked me out. I appreciate the plug on the notary business. I truly do. Reminds me of dial-up days. Yeah, it was a call from my dermatologist. I saw it. I immediately hit send a voicemail, but it still kicked me out. So what are you gonna do? What the fuck? You know what I mean? It's not a table flipper moment or anything like that. It's just shit happens. Do you need a mod? I have a mod in the room currently. But thank you. Do you think we'll survive 4 years? Certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. Here's what I know, and it's all I know currently, is that I've monetized this platform, and this platform is now generating enough money monthly to pay the bills. So if they take away my ability to make money doing trucking, or if they take away my wife's ability to make money doing home closings, which will most likely fall off the cliff, or in doing bulk agricultural exports, which are going to take a hit, at least I can make money talking about all of it. Have you broken your nose before? No. I have, knock on wood, never broken a bone in my life. Oh, don't be talking about me as a hero. I know that. Glad I found you. Thank you very much. Yes, I remember when we had a balanced budget. The last 6 years of the Clinton administration, we had a balanced budget and we ran an annual surplus. We were actually paying down our debt. Those were the days. Are you hopeful for the midterms? Always. But I was also hopeful for the presidential election. And how'd that turn out? Can Trump make Canada as our 51st state? No, he can't. And if he even tries to do so, we will literally be at war with the world, as they are a NATO country, and all of the other NATO countries will come to their defense, and we will find ourselves at war with the world. But since Trump's our president, who knows, maybe Russia will help us. Well, Mr. Powell, I wanted to say that I enjoy your social media content. What the fuck was that? Oh, fucking ice maker. Holy shit. How's Musk going to rig the midterms? Okay, here's a question I have for everybody that's in here. How many people we have in here? We have 248 people. I'm going to ask a serious question for my own knowledge. Just say me, or show put a hand up emoji if you found me for the first time on YouTube. If you didn't come over from TikTok or some other platform and you just found me here, like the first time you know about me is from here. No shit. How many of you know that I have 1.5 million followers on TikTok? Say, I do. Say I do if you know that I have 1.5 million followers on TikTok. Like, that's unfucking believable to me. I spent 4 years building a platform on TikTok. I have 1.5 million followers. I make money on TikTok. I do TikTok shop sales. I'm friends with like people I never thought in a million years I'd be friends with, right? I'm on TikTok. I'm mutuals with Rosie O'Donnell, with the musician Moby, with the comedian Margaret Cho, Vic DiBitetto, some people. I'm friends with a NASA flight director and former astronaut who said, "Dude, I think you're one of the greatest philosophical minds of our time. Come down to Houston. I'll give you a behind the scenes tour of the whole fucking thing." And then I got into YouTube. And everybody that's on YouTube is like, "Yeah, I found you on YouTube." I'm like, "I thought you guys all came over from TikTok." Huh. Well, fucking A right. So, yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Bluesky, Twitter, Clapper, Snapchat, LinkedIn, and Truth Social. And I do content in some way, shape, or form for all of that. I have for a while hosted 2 podcasts, but I have taken a break from both of those until I figure out what I want to do with them. I've written 2 books. I've appeared on 6 other podcasts. I've appeared in 2 newspapers and an AARP news article. And I came to YouTube in order to see if I could monetize a platform that was more steady, um, as YouTube tends to be. And so, well, I'm that's impressive. That's impressive. I'm happy to have a whole new batch of audience over here on YouTube. So, uh, since you don't have the 4 years of videos to go off of, like I have over 25,000 videos on YouTube, going all the way back to December of 2020. I know a lot of people that are boycotting Meta. Uh, so anyway, I live in what is this? No. I have 2,900 videos here. On TikTok, I have 25,000. So I'm a little bit about me. I'm 52. I'm going to be 53 years old in May of this year. I've been married to my wife since May of 1999. Renee and I met in an AOL chat room in May of 1997. We started dating. We moved in together in May of 1998 into our first apartment, and in May of 1999, we got married. In May of 2001, we had our first child, Magnolia Lynn. In September of 2004, uh, '01 was Maggie. In September of '04, we had our second child, Lily Marie, and then we decided to stop having children. Then in December of 2010, our son was born. Sorry, 2011. Our son was born. Oops. And then 3 years ago, I did a 23andMe DNA test just to see how Italian I actually am, since my grandfather on my mother's side was born in Sicily and immigrated to the United States, just for fun. And it told me that I had a daughter that I was unaware that I had, who was in her early 30s, married, and had 2 kids. And so now we have 4 kids, a son-in-law, and 2 granddaughters. Uh, I was a landscape contractor for 26 years. I had my own company for the last 6 of those years. I retired early in 2018 because my wife was making so much money. And then in May, then she switched companies after 10 years. And then a year later, the company she was working for folded back in May. So we lost all of our income this past year and are surviving solely off of what I make on social media. Um, Prior to landscaping, I dropped out of high school. I failed seventh grade completely. Had to retake the entirety of the seventh grade. Barely passed it the second time. Barely made it out of eighth grade. Finished my freshman year with 1.5 credits. Didn't go to school for the first 6 weeks of my sophomore year, and then dropped out. I knocked around Indiana, southern Indiana, for a few months, maybe a year. Then came back up to the Chicagoland area, knocked around for a few months, and then in the spring of 1992, went to work for a traveling carnival running the Zipper. And I worked for the carnival from spring of '92 to fall of '92, when the carnival season in the Midwest ended, and I folded into the Grateful Dead tour. And then I did that from fall of '92 to August of '95, when Jerry died. What else? I live in the Chicago suburbs. I drive a Jeep Cherokee. My favorite color is blue, and I wipe front to back. I think tacos are the perfect food. I had a lot of racist, homophobic, sexist tendencies when I was younger, and life taught me differently. Oh, good God, I got some aja. I don't know what else to say to introduce myself. Is your camera in reverse? I don't know. I don't know how you guys are seeing it. Here's the deal. The music wall is on my left side. Here's my wedding ring. So this is my left side here, and this is my right side here. Oh, is the camera in reverse here? Can you read the Cheap Trick on my shirt? There you go. I have pets. I have an 8-year-old yellow lab named Clyde. Actually, his name is Clyde Eugene Powell. And then we have 5 cats. Our oldest cat is a black and white long-haired male named Freddie Mercury. Then we have the rest of our cats are short hair. Then we have the orange tabby named Franklin, after the Grateful Dead song Franklin's Tower. Then we have the only female in the group. She's the calico cat. Her name is Pepper, for Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Then we have the solid black cat, Ozzy Osbourne, and then we have the gray tabby, Eddie Van Halen. Why cats? Because I love fucking cats. They're cool. What else? My wife and I own half of a small trucking company. My wife and I are both mobile notaries. My wife is off doing a signing right now, as a matter of fact. She specializes in home closing and refinances. I had my right hip replaced a few years ago. Had emergency gallbladder surgery, I don't know, a couple of years ago. We like the vacation in Jamaica the most, but we're trying to get it to as many places as humanly possible. We love to go stay at the Sandals Ochi Resort in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. What made you turn your views about the world around? The world. Then you go out and you meet people that you used to think were inferior, and you realize that they're not. Mobile notaries. That's a new one on me. How does that work? So you get notarized in your state, right? You become a notary. However, you become a notary in your state, and then you offer services on a mobile basis. We do a lot of stuff. What I do most of is like nursing homes and hospitals. Well, I'll get a call from somebody and they'll say, I need a POA notarized, a healthcare directive notarized, and I'll go to them. My wife does home closings and refinances, and so she works with title companies, and they'll call her and go, I have one in Montgomery, Illinois today. Can you make it at 2 o'clock? And she goes to Montgomery at 2 o'clock. I have one in Wilmington at 3:15, and she goes and does that. And so you can only charge the notary stamp price for the notarization, but you charged for your time and your travel. So if my wife travels 20 minutes away to do a signing, does she work with banks? Yes, absolutely. She travels 20 minutes away to do a signing. Signing takes about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. She charges 100 and a half, 200, somewhere in that range. Right? If I'm going to the next town over, I'm going up to Shorewood, which is where I go to a lot, to the old folks home up there to do POAs. It's $75 for me to go, plus $5 for every stamp you need, and we go to you. I also do it online. I have a gentleman who lives in the Southwest of the United States that sells property all over the country, and I do deeds and titles for him online from right here in the office. I started working with me because he was following me on TikTok, and so he signs on to a secure web portal, and he's looking at me in my office right here, and I'm doing his notarization for him, and then I charge him electronic. He pays me through Venmo. I have my Venmo, my Cash App, and my PayPal and all of that shit up in the link in my bio on all my social media apps. A Five Finger Death Punch. I might have heard one of their songs, but I couldn't name one for you. How did you zero in on staying in Chicago? I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. My wife was born and raised in the Chicagoland area. While my father's side of the family is from southern Indiana, and I don't have anything to do with my mother's side of the family that's up here, all of my wife's family are up here. Our kids were born and raised in the Chicagoland area, and my wife's mother and stepfather just moved so much closer to us that they're now, they're fucking 15 minutes away, that we're really not going anywhere. Not to mention the fact that this month we've been in this house 20 years. The house is worth way more than what we owe on it. I don't want to move. I don't want to start over again. Yeah, I'm just gonna fix up what we have here and enjoy the rest of my life right here. Be the one and only house I ever own. Gary Moore, I believe I have. Nah, keep it. That's generational wealth right there. Huh? You talking about the house? The house ain't worth that much, man. And besides, housing prices are inflated, interest rates are up. I'm 53. I'm not going fucking anywhere. I'm gonna fix up my little 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house here. I'm going to fix up my backyard. I'm going to put a new fence and a new deck and get things that are going to last the next 30, 40 years. I'm going to get some of that Trex decking and that vinyl fencing so I don't ever have to fucking finish it or worry about it rotting out. No, I'm not buying a house in this market. No. I am sorry that you have never been able to own a house. That is bullshit. Everybody in this country that works their ass off for a living should be able to afford the American dream. And I understand that I'm from a generation where we might have been the last ones to be able to sneak in and truly enjoy that. Maybe the millennials are. But here's what I can tell the younger generation out there. And I know that this is going to sound crass, but I'm telling you straight. The silent generation is all but gone. Now we're seeing the baby boomers die off. And I want you to be aware of something. Since the 2016 election, okay, just hear me out on this. Since the 2016 election, over 22 million baby boomers have died. 22 million. In that same period of time, over 40 million Gen Zers have come of voting age. We are not too far away from seeing a dramatic power shift in this country because of the shifting demographics. And with baby boomers dying off, yes, a lot of their wealth is going to get chewed up in the form of healthcare costs and retirement communities and things of that nature that they're going to go live in their old age before they die. But it's only a matter of time before they're all fucking gone. And all of that shit that they're holding on to, they're not going to have the ability to hold on to anymore. And we need millennials and Gen Zs to get into elected positions to be able to change this. The boomers are never going to change it. The Gen Xers, our time has come and gone, right? The boomers held on to power for so long that now it's time for the millennials and the Gen Zers to take over. And I, as a Gen Xer, am fine going, run with it. It's your country now. Fix what these motherfuckers fucked up. And hopefully they can. Of all of those generations mentioned, yeah, Gen X is the smallest of the generations. We never really had the voting. We had numbers, but we never really had the voting power. We were sandwiched between two massive generations. The silent generation held on forever. Remember, I was raised by two different generations, right? My father was silent generation, and my mother was a boomer. And for those of you on YouTube that don't know that backstory, I'll go ahead and give you that quick synopsis. There's a hot dog stand outside of the city of Chicago called Gene and Jude's Hot Dogs. Every fucking person in my life is addicted to these goddamn hot dogs. I can't stand them. My father was addicted to these hot dogs, and he had a bit of a sweet tooth. And in the parking lot of Gene and Jude's stood an ice cream stand. And my mother worked at that ice cream stand. And so my father would go get his hot dogs. He'd eat them in his car, and then he'd go get some ice cream, and he would, flirt with the girl making his ice cream, my mother. The problem with this, what makes this entire scenario grotesque, is that my father was a 27-year-old drag racer and my mother was a 16-year-old high school girl. Anyway, they had a rendezvous in the backseat of his car right there in the parking lot of Gene and Jude's, and I was created. That was late 1971. In May of 1972, I was born. They had just gotten hitched, and their lives were ruined forever. Because neither one of them wanted kids, neither one of them really liked each other, neither one of them wanted to get married and settle down, but now all of a sudden that's what they had to do. 5 years later, they squeezed out another son, my only blood sibling, Michael, and then when I was 8 years old, they got a divorce. My father signed some insurance papers while drunk, and turned out to be divorce papers. He woke up on the front lawn of our house with the divorce papers he signed pinned to the front door, the locks changed, and his wife gone to her sister's house in Ohio with the kids. That's how my parents' divorce went down. She was fucking the accountant that they were using to try to get their taxes done. Yeah, he was drugged with alcohol. She got him drunk and divorced his ass. Then, from the ages of 8 to 13, she took out her frustrations on life on me. She beat the living dog shit out of me for those years. Started out with just a lot of belt whippings to where I had a lot of open wounds and welts. And so I was always coached on what to tell doctors and teachers and other adults as to what my new wounds were all about. I was the kid who fell down the stairs a lot. And then she would change up things as she would go along to hide what she was doing. And one of her favorite routines would be to hold my arms behind my back and kind of lift me up off the ground onto my toes and drive her fist into my lower back because it held it hid the bruises and the welts the best. It was underneath my shirt and my pants. I remember I talked about this on TikTok and on my podcast and in my book. I remember one beating in particular that I detailed. I rode my bicycle up to the 7-Eleven. I was 10 to get a gallon of milk, and on the way home, I dropped the gallon of milk. Didn't break it, but it dented the gallon of milk and made it all dirty. And my punishment for that was I was made to strip naked and lay face down on the couch. I had to put my arms up over the arm of the couch where my mother sat on the floor holding my arms down while her boyfriend took his belt and beat my lower back and ass until my skin ripped open. That was for spilling the milk. That happened until I was 13 years old. And when I was 13 years old, I ran away and I went to go live with my father. And my mother fought to get custody back of me. But what my father did was he would take pictures of my bruises on the weekends that he would have me every other weekend. He had no money for a lawyer, but he was amassing evidence. And then when my mother took my father to court to get custody of me back after I ran away from her home, my father's lawyer presented my mother's lawyer with a shoebox full of Polaroids of my various welts and bruises, and my mother agreed to give up custody of me. So my brother went to go live with my mother, and I went to go live with my father, and we went our separate ways. And yeah, that was my early childhood up until my teens. I learned how to walk at US 30 drag strip because the old man was a race car driver, and we spent all of our weekends at the various race strips in the Midwest. And I took my first steps at US 30 drag strip. So I got the fuck out of my mom's house and vowed nobody was ever going to put their fucking hands on me again. And after a couple of attempts at reconciliation, a few over the years, that never really worked out. I got word from my aunt. When was this? Handful of years back now. That my mother had died. Nobody had heard from her for a couple of days, and so they sent my brother to go check in on her because he's the one that had keys to her condo. And they found her dead in a pile of filth. And when I say a pile of filth, I mean a literal pile of filth. She would come home and eat her fast food on her no-sheet mattress that was stained to hell and back, and just throw the trash on the floor. And so there was garbage on the side of her bed as tall as the nightstand, on the other side of her bed, and on that floor as tall as that nightstand, in the bathroom and in front of the dressers. It was all trash. It was fast food cups. It was old rotting pieces of fries and things of that nature that she didn't eat with that night's dinner. And there was an ashtray there, a couple of ashtrays there filled with her cigarette butts, and she had some type of attack of some kind in the middle of the night and died. She was a boomer. Yes, my father was silent generation. My father was silent generation. She's a boomer. I'm Gen X, and I have 4 children: a millennial, 2 Gen Zs, and a Gen Alpha. So my personal experience with life, my experience is that of being raised by a boomer and a silent generation, living as a Gen Xer, and now being the parent to a millennial, 2 Gen Zers, and Gen. I have touched every generation from silent generation to Gen Alpha at this point in my life. It's kind of fucked up to think about. What are we looking at? 2:44. Got some time. Flip your camera around. Not going to do that because I've made over 25,000 videos on TikTok with my camera at this angle, and it's just become part of who I am. People know my room from this orientation, so I'm just going to roll with it here on YouTube as well. I appreciate the advice, though. Love your videos. Keep it up. One parent to another. Really stoked with your YouTube page is great. So am I. Really stoked. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I thought I was going to be able to make some supplemental income. I didn't think I was going to be able to pay my bills with it. So I'm beyond stoked. Trust me, with the kind of money that this page is generating for me at the moment, I'll be doing content on here every fucking day for the foreseeable future, unless I take a vacation. And even then, you're going to get vacation content. The mayor of Chicago doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He promised he would never raise property taxes to cover his shortcomings in the budget. His budget is so fucking out of whack that there's no fucking way in hell it can work. And so he's now going back on his promise, and he wants to raise property taxes in the city of Chicago by like over $300 million to cover his budget shortfalls. He should not be mayor of the city of Chicago. I don't care that he's a fucking Democrat. If he's wrong for the office, he's wrong for the office. Oh, I'm not going to be going to Hawaii anytime soon, that's for sure. Right now, I'm scheduled to go back to Jamaica. Renee and I are scheduled to go back to Jamaica a year from now, February of 26. She's supposed to try and get to Vegas with her mom and our daughters in October, I believe. And we'll see if anything happens between there. If the kind of growth on this platform continues to happen at the rate that it's been happening, then we might squeeze a cruise in here between now and Jamaica. But we'll see. I don't know. No, I don't ever go to Dunn's River Fall. We've been to Ocho Rios 3 times. Uh, Never really had a desire to go do Dunn's River Falls. She did it before. My wife was a travel agent before we met each other, and she had been to Jamaica a handful of times. No, when I go down to Jamaica, what I like to do is I like to go to the top of Mount Zion and pay my respects to Bob Marley's final resting place. I grab some of the mountain herb while I'm up there, grab her a couple of brownies while I'm up there, and then I come back down, and then we hang out on the resort for the most part. Maybe a little bit of shopping in town, but at the end of the day, the Sandals Resort in Ocho Rios is so massive, you don't need to go anywhere else, right? It's the largest resort in the entire Sandals chain. It's actually 2 resorts that have been combined into one, and because it was 2 separate resorts, they were separated by a road. So the 2 parts of the resort now are separated by a road, and you have to take a shuttle back and forth across. It has 16 restaurants, 3 beaches, uh, just absolute tons of shit to do. We go down for 10 days. Um, and you can lose yourself for 10 days in that resort. How do you like the green stuff in Jamaica? Not nearly as good as the stuff we have here. Not nearly as good. What was one huge mistake of Obama? The surge, promising to close Gitmo without realizing he can't do it without an act of Congress. Not endorsing gay marriage until he had no more elections to run for. Compromising on health care and giving the Republicans the Republican plan, which is what Obamacare is. Obamacare was actually thought up by the Heritage Foundation and implemented in Massachusetts by then Governor Romney. That's why they call it in Massachusetts Romney Care. Back scratcher. I have plaque psoriasis, so I have a back scratcher everywhere. I keep one in my car. I keep one here on my desk. I keep one on my nightstand. What Sandals Resort was that? Sandals Ochi, OCHI, in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And if you do a dive into my videos here, one of my best performing videos is, well, not anymore. It was. I do a tour of the room that we stay in, which is called the Romeo and Juliet Suite. And let me tell you something. It's a lot of fucking money, but it's worth every fucking penny. We stay there for 10 days. When you open up just let me describe it to you for a moment. So there are 7 or 8 buildings, and each building has 2 rooms. So you walk up the little sidewalk of your building on your side, and your door is like an exterior door. You do your key, and you open up your door, and you step into your own private courtyard. And in that courtyard, you have your own private hot tub, your own private lap pool, an outdoor shower, and 2 lounge chairs and 10-foot walls, but the top is all open. At one end of the courtyard is an enclosed area with big French opening doors with lots of windows, and that area is your seating area, your table with 2 chairs, your mini fridge, all your alcohol. They restock that, your little sink, all of that. And at the other end of the courtyard is another enclosed area, and that's your 4-poster bed and your big bathroom with your walk-in marble shower and your 2-person tub and your shitter and all of that. I did a tour. There's a video on my page. I think I've actually done 2 tours of that room, and both videos are on my page if you want to see them. I hope you have a retirement account. No. Nice, brother. I'll check it out. Right on. Noticed the Cheap Trick shirt. Amen. 57 years old. I still haven't seen them, and I really want to. By the way, appreciate your channel. This transplanted Canadian is watching from Baltimore. Right on. Yes, Cheap Trick. Mama's all right. Daddy's all right. They just seem a little strange. Rockford's very own. Northern Illinois, baby. Was scared shitless about 9/11 when I first saw it. I was working as a landscape contractor in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and I was working at the Barrington Hills Fire Department doing some landscaping there when the news broke of it happening, and I drove back to my shop's my owner's house, and we sat around and we watched it live on TV. What scares me as a Canadian is I've noticed the trend here in Canada that usually we follow the States by 5 to 10 years. Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. That Grateful Dead guitar, I don't know how to play the guitar. I've never learned how to play the guitar. You see this neck right here? This is like a $125 acoustic guitar. I had that hanging here just to bring a musical element into my music tribute wall. This guitar landed in the lap of the owner of the local music shop where they sell instruments and do lessons. And we know him very well. He taught my daughter guitar. He taught my son drums. My daughter worked for him for a period of time, so forth and so on. And he called me and said, hey, this landed in my lap. Do you want it before I put it out for sale for the general public? And I said, of course I want it, but I'm not going to buy it because I don't know how to play it. And I believe that that should go to somebody who knows how to play. So I passed. That was October of 2020. He then called my wife and said, okay, before I put it out, are we sure he doesn't want it? And she said, of course he wants it. And she bought the fucking thing behind my back, hid it under my daughter's bed. And Christmas that year, 2020, after we opened all of our presents, which for me included some of these pictures, and I was literally cleaning up the wrapping paper, she went, oh, by the way, here. And she handed me the guitar case, and that was inside of it. And she said, at the end of the day, I couldn't let it go to somebody else because I know how much of a fan you are. She also got me that Jerry Garcia Serigraph. There are only 5,000 of those printed. And she bought it for me eons ago, and it sat in a protective tube for years and years and years. And then when I finally got this office after our daughter Magnolia moved out of the house, she took it, got it framed, matted, and brought it back to me and said, here, hang that in your office. What do you think is the end game for Trump and Elon? Milk this country for every dime it's got and see how long they can stay in power. Steve Jobs did some pretty good things. I don't know. You know, I'd have to sit down, and I'm not too up to date on all of his achievements. That's a fucking bright screensaver. The guitar is a nice piece. Yes, let me see if I can do this. Okay, so the wall. This is my computer that's in front of me. Yada yada yada. My stand. So you see, there's Black Crowes and Ozzy. That's the end of that wall, and then we have Dave Matthews, the Woodstock poster, Stevie Nicks, a series of guitar picks, not from concerts or anything. I just bought them offline. I thought they were pretty cool. A follower of mine from TikTok had this pencil drawing of Jerry Garcia framed and mounted, hanging in his house for years in Florida. And then he was downsizing, and he just sent it to me out of the blue. Said, here, thought you should have it. Jimi Hendrix. Naked Ray Gun skateboard plank deck. That is Run DMC and the Beastie Boys in New York City in 1985. This here is a ukulele I bought in the Bahamas. We have Stevie Ray Vaughan, George Clinton, and the Blues Brothers poster. I'm going to remove myself. Why are you removing yourself? MAGA gives you so much content. Yes, they do. And that's the beautiful thing. Here's the thing. I'm going to talk about politics I'm going to talk about music and Chicago and Gen X culture and weed and all of that. I'm going to food. I'm going to still talk about all of that. But predominantly what I talk about is political and social issues. And no matter who's in office, politics never stop. So I will always, forever and a day, have content. MAGA just makes it so much more entertaining because they're so goddamn wrong, so goddamn always, and they're so goddamn confident in their wrongness. Do I eat pizza every day? Not even close. I don't know how to play the guitar. I've never learned how to play the guitar. That's art for me. That's why it's hanging on the wall. That's art. Yep, they're so goddamn wrong, so goddamn always. I'm only going to be out here for a few more minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Then I got to get ready to take care of some things. No, to be honest with you, I rarely watch TV anymore. We're literally thinking about, not thinking about, we're going to. The next time we have to update our furniture, and that's getting close, let me tell you something, it is fucking gnarly in there. But the next time we actually update our furniture, we're going to do so, and we're not going to have a TV in the living room. That's how little we watch TV. We just don't watch it anymore. And there's one in the bedroom if we want to watch TV, so we got to make sure that the judiciary holds and the guardrails hold, and then we'll be fine. Some people are going to feel some pain over the next 4 years. And at the end of the day, we have nobody to blame but the millions of Democrats or liberals or lefties that didn't show up to vote. You have me and other streamers on your TV. Well, look at me finally making it to the big screen. We want the funk. Gotta have that funk. Oh, we need the funk. So streaming services we have Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Hulu, HBO Max, and maybe Peacock. It's weird because everybody wanted to get the hell away from cable, so we did because we wanted to get to the streaming services. But now with the streaming services, we have so many different streaming services that essentially what we've done is recreated cable. And it's only a matter of time before some fucking genius comes along and says, listen, I'll bundle you, instead of you having 7 different bills to pay for 7 different streaming services, I'll bundle it all together for you for one collective price. And they're just going to recreate cable. Did you do a collaboration with Hawk? I had Hawk on my podcast and he recorded that podcast for his podcast. Yes. I don't know who Vosh is. Do you ever hit Lutz's Bakery? No. I want 4 more years of Trump. Well, congratulations, you got it. Yeah, I'm really surprised at the number of people that follow me on YouTube that found me for the first time on YouTube. It really does. I thought most of you guys were coming over from TikTok. I have 1.5 million subscribers, followers on TikTok. And so I just thought, my 80 some thousand, almost 90,000 followers were predominantly people coming over from TikTok, but apparently that's not the case. And I'm cool. I'm cool with that because a whole new audience. Yeah, absolutely. I have two podcasts, but I have taken a pause from them. I don't know how and when I'm going to start them back up. I have one that I've done for years that it's on Spotify. It's called the Second Half Podcast. There's a link in my bio, and that has been predominantly me discussing the local, not the local, but the political news of the week. And I haven't made one for a couple of weeks now, and I didn't make one for like all of December and the second half of November. And then my other podcast is called Off Topic with Tom Powell. It's over on Patreon. It's a subscription base. Don't go subscribe because I haven't done one in a hot minute, like 2 months, and I'm trying to figure out how to just move that over here to YouTube for free for everybody to watch. But I've released like 5 or 6 of those 1 hour long interview podcasts and like no views, right? I release a 3 to 5 minute video here on YouTube and it gets a 500,000 views. It gets 200,000 views. I released that hour long interview where I'm interviewing another person in podcast form, 400 views. I miss Bandit Pops from TikTok. That name's not ringing a bell. Do you think Oscar awards are corrupted? Maybe. I watch Midas Touch Network, The Bulwark, Legal AF, and Brian Tyler Cohen for YouTube videos. Nice. Nice. You were telling me, bro, I'm vaping wedding cake from URB watching your vids, and these dudes say the most outlandish shit. So I'm trying to tell you. You got one. Huh? What is that number? 158.29, 845. That to me seems like there might be commas in wrong places. Bandit Pops. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, now I know who you're talking about. My apologies. 15.8 million views. Is that what it says on my page? I didn't even know it said shit like that on the page. I'm that new to YouTube. Like I monetized. I just I had a YouTube channel for this channel for a while, but I never really did a lot about it. Right? I just from time to time would put videos up, and then I focused heavily on TikTok for 4 years, and then I started focusing heavily on YouTube like October, and was finally able to monetize in November, and it's been growing ever since. I just subscribed. I like your openness. Thank you very much. Luke Beasley is good. Okay. We just surpassed 90,000 subscribers. Right on. Fabulous. I'm trying to match what I'm doing over on TikTok here. Like, I have 1.5 million over there. I'd like to see 1.5 million over here. What are Joey Boy and Indian Harris going to do now? Who's Joey Boy and Indian Harris? If you don't mind me asking. Tell the economy is fucking flunking when you get so many people picking up YouTube as a part-time job. Swinging by to say thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Reese Waters too. Okay. Love your channel. Thanks for all the true information. Everybody talk amongst yourself momentarily. keep making videos, Tom. We need some positivity to get to. I've never really been considered one who's been considered positive, but appreciate the words. Do you think Mahomes deserved 3 Super Bowl wins in a row or not? Only if he could win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Otherwise, no, he doesn't deserve 3 in a row. Clearly, he couldn't, so no. The Romeo and Juliet room is extraordinarily pricey. It comes with 2 butlers for your stay, that room that we were talking about in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. And it is the utmost privacy. You don't have a beach view. You got 2 butlers, but you have the utmost privacy. We get it for the utmost privacy. And you're right, it's pricey as fuck. You go for 10 days, it is going to cost you a chunk of change. Now, there are other rooms on that resort that aren't as private, but let's say you have a group of people that are going. They have these buildings that have 2 rooms at the top and 2 rooms at the bottom, these little 4 square buildings, and that building shares a pool, right? So if you have 4 couples that are going, then you guys could rent a building together and be the only ones in your own pool. You know what I'm saying? You just don't have the amount of privacy that comes with the Romeo and Juliet suite. You can do 3 days if you want to do 3 days. You don't have to do 10. You could do 5 days. The first time we went was 7 back in 2019. And so we've been there 3 times. We've stayed in that same room 3 times. We're scheduled to go back in February of 26 in that same room for a 4th time. How often do you go live on YouTube? This is like my 3rd or 4th time, I think. It's whenever the mood strikes. I used to go live a lot pre-election because we were talking about the issues leading up to the election. And that's how I was trying to monetize over on TikTok, I should say. And that's how I was trying to monetize part of my existence on TikTok. Post-election, I'm more about making the content to discuss the issues that are happening, and am splitting that up between TikTok and YouTube, and focusing more on YouTube for the growth and the monetization. And I probably will go live on this platform more often. I just need to figure out what my schedule, how it breaks down, right? Right now I get up 6 o'clock in the morning, kind of take a few minutes to wipe the cobwebs out of my eye, get my son up, get him up and rolling for the day, and then I begin checking things. I begin looking at statistics from overnight, from YouTube, from TikTok, sales numbers, checking to see if there are any issues with our driver and our trucking company, and then I begin lining up the content I'm going to make that day. And then I get back here into the office about 9:30. I start making content. I make content through 12:30. Get all of that down or uploaded to TikTok, downloaded to my phone, uploaded to YouTube in private, plus content that I made only for YouTube. Get all of that listed in private. Once that's all listed in private, I go through, count how much of it I have, and then schedule it out over the next day and a half. So everything I made today will go live tomorrow night. Become a member of what? Somebody says, why can't we become a member? Become a member of what? It's very late where you're at. Gotcha. Should we celebrate when Creepy Joe bites it? If that's what you want to do, then do so. I know I'm certainly going to smoke an extra doob the day Der Muskfuhrer takes his last breath. Do what you need to do, my guy. What is the join button? Memberships. But okay, memberships. Why would you pay for a membership to see the content that is free to see? I guess that would be my question. I would love to have another stream of revenue off of this app, but why would you pay for something you're already getting free? Is it a way to show your gratitude or something? I'm trying to understand. Oh, then I'll turn it on by all means. I'll have to figure out how to turn it on, and I'll get it turned on. Yes, by all means I will. I I didn't know what the benefit would be to you guys in so like with my Patreon, you get something at Patreon that I only make for Patreon, right? So it makes sense to become a member there. Here, everything is open to the public. So I look at it and I say, why would you ever pay me to access something that you already get for free? But if it truly is because you want to benefit the people who create the content that you enjoy, that you're entertained by, then for sure I'll have it turned on by tonight, and then you guys can feel free to become members as well. It would greatly help. It would be incredibly appreciated by my family and I. I don't know that I would make members only content. That's the point to that whole conversation, I guess, is the content I make, I'm going to put it out there for everybody to be able to see because I already get paid for you guys watching it because of the ads that are attached to it. It's almost exclusively to support the creators we appreciate. Good to know. I'll turn it on. Thank you. Enable super chats? What is a super chat? So here's what I'm going to try and do. We're gonna try and mix in some more content. I'm going to keep doing the same content that you guys see, and I'm going to do it every day from here in my office. It's why I built this office, right? To create my content and run my companies. And so you're going to continue to see video after video after video every day. That is going to be my opinion and thoughts on various political and social issues from here in the office. You're going to continue to see content from here in the office about music and Gen X culture and Chicago history and the sticky icky. And I'm also going to try and mix in some more food videos. I'm not going to give you, I'm going to give this sandwich a 7.8. That's not what I do. I go, hey, this is a joint that I really like. This is a joint that I've been wanting to try. I think it's a pretty cool joint, or I want to see what this joint is like, and I'll, take you guys along for the ride. I'm not that great at those food videos, but it's about as real as it's going to get because it's going to be me walking into a joint with a phone. I'm going to try and take you guys, not try, whenever we go anywhere, we travel somewhere, we leave the state, go on a long weekend, go out of the country, I'm going to do content from that vacation spot. I'm going to keep you guys abreast of stuff that we're doing, that we're enjoying. I'll talk a little bit about the news as well, so forth and so on. And we'll start to try and do more things in the Chicagoland area as the weather warms up. It's colder than a well digger's ass here right now. And, nobody's out doing a shit ton of outdoor content in Chicagoland right now. Fox Lake. My wife's family had a little weekend joint at Fish Lake Beach up in Volo. We used to go out on the Fox Lake, quite the chain of lakes, quite a bit. Is it 420 there in Michigan? It's 316 here. Yep, RFK all of his shitty cabinet choices got confirmed because we didn't show up to take the Senate, to keep the Senate. We didn't. You can turn on member-only chats. Interesting. You grew up in Berwyn, Willow Springs, and Lyons. Okay. My father lived at 6830 West 26th Street in Berwyn, Illinois, a block and a half west of 26th and Oak Park. At the corner of 26th and Oak Park, there's a little pizza joint called Benny's Pizza. It's attached to a corner shop that has some apartments above it. I lived in those apartments above that shop there, right at 26th and Oak Park. Used to walk a block and a half east of Oak Park on 26th to Red Top to get a good beef sandwich back in the day. Couple more minutes, boys and girls, and then I gotta get shit organized. I did watch Svengoolie back in the day, religiously. Yes. Okay, I'll have those memberships turned on later on tonight. I have more content coming to you throughout the hours. Some in the morning, some midday, some tomorrow afternoon and evening, some the rest of tonight. Make sure you watch them all. Do me a favor, get as many people that you know to subscribe to this channel. Send this channel to your relatives, your coworkers, your friends, various people. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I've grown my TikTok. It's glad to know that this is predominantly a new audience. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the content that I put out there. It's meant for conversations. It's meant to spark conversations. So have conversations in the comment sections. You're going to find people that agree with you, people that disagree with you, and that's the push and pull of society. Am I monetized? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Actually, YouTube is paying my bills currently. So you guys are going to continue to get daily content as long as I'm continuing to be able to pay my bills as a result of it. You will continue to get regular content out of me on this platform. So I got to go move some cars around in the driveway, get things organized, and get ready to go see my son at Scholastic Bowl. Thank you guys very much. Send me a message if you have a question. And hasta lasagna.